So, Scorpio, this one's for you. You know the drill. We've done this before. This is Tarot Lumination with your love and relationship report for November 2017. You, Scorpio, watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Put it all together. People call it cross-watching, apparently. So there you go. We've got no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals, none of that. Just really simple stuff. We're going to use what I call a crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, Scorpio, and a significant other, a chosen relationship where there's some investment. And we allow for you, we allow for the other, and we allow for the energy of the relationship itself, which has its own identity. Okay? Now we're just going to just dive right in, okay? I'm not doing the usual chit-chat in advance. We're just going to go for it, okay? And we'll wing it, okay? Cards. We're jumpy. I don't know if you saw it, don't know if you felt it, but I really felt it here. So anyway, I'm just going to keep going for just another moment. And then we're going to read for you. Wow, that's interesting. We'll see. All right, here we go. All right. Cards are going everywhere. I don't know what it means. Don't ask me. So we are cut. We're going. Here's your energy, okay, Scorpio? Here's significant other, chosen relationship. Here is going deep inside of you, Scorpio, deep inside another, and here's the relationship itself. Now already you can see the crucible. This is the bowl shape. This is what I talk about on Tarot Lumination. This is about the whole idea that a relationship is an investment. It's where you create a structure in which both parties invest. There's you, there's the other, and you live through the relationship itself as opposed to in a two-dimensional, three-dimensional way like this. So, and this would be the momentum where everything's going, where it seems to be going. And we're look at this. This is circumstantial energy, the weather, so to speak. It's there. It permeates the situation, and you're going to make the best of it, like we all do. Okay, like we have to. Okay, you have the Lovers. Okay, so Scorpio, this is, let's just say, kind of a big deal. I haven't honestly seen this card a lot in love and relationship readings, not for some time. So it's an indication that matters are very significant for you right now, Scorpio. It's very evident that you're dealing with a significant other, and the significant other they have evidence, they feel it inside of themselves that they too are dealing with a significant other in which there's a lot at stake. It's on the understanding that you're basically divinely blessed here. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but there is this beautiful angelic being out there. It's like an amazing opportunity where the situation is ripe for awareness, on the understanding that we're dealing with relationship in the most profound elemental form. The person with the person, with all of their gifts and all of their challenges, and the other person with all of their gifts and all their challenges. It's not just like squeezing out, I just want the best out of you and I want the best out of you, and we'll just pretend the rest of it doesn't exist. This is a full-on relationship where you get the best and the worst of each other. And that is the ultimate kind of relationship dynamic out of which both parties can benefit and have the most evolutionary opportunity as well, because through the challenges is where we grow. And obviously with the Lovers card here, it's an indication that the crucible itself is going to be probably very strong, but also equally challenged as the relationship goes through those patterns of intimacy and separation, where both parties are tested, but in a beautiful way. And of course, by choosing this, of course, the energy of choice with the Lovers is on the understanding that we're going to do this or not. If we do this, then it means we're not doing that. Or if you do this, it means you're not doing that. It could be a choices with people, significant others. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at you, Scorpio. What's going on? Okay, so I don't know if you're feeling a little bit full of yourself right now, Scorpio. This is kind of a winner's card. It's called the Six of Wands. And it might be just very simple. It might be you're feeling like, wow, you've kind of like done the right thing in the right place at the right time for the right reasons. You've made some good decisions up to this point. And yes, you might be facing like an epic, monumental chapter in your life right now, just in this November period. Remember, this is just a temporal reading. Things will change as we go to December, January, and so on. But right now, it looks like you feel like you've scored. Let's put it that way. Let's keep it really simple, all right, Scorpio? You might feel that you have scored with a significant other, and you are being appreciated and valued by a significant other. So that would be very nice. It's sort of something that you can put in the bank. And wow, I'm not sure what else to say. It's so simple. So let's just go straight to the other. This might be a very short reading, Scorpio. Okay. Well, they might be in a bit of a bind. Because look, what can happen is that it could be one of those, like, what do they call it? A double bind, where uh, if you choose this, then it's going to mean that you're left with a situation that you would like but you can't have, or if you choose this, then you're left with a situation that you might like that you can't have. So it's being a double bind. In other words, Scorpio, you might be relating to someone who understands that they are, it's like whatever way they go, it's going to have significant, uh, let's just say, impact on their life. Both cards involve relationship, okay? But it's relationship in a way that's very binding. It can also be a relationship that's very, very deeply passionate, very, very deeply rewarding, something that could have been desired for a very long time, and now it's here for them. Only it might be a shock that it's here because it's kind of a big deal. Both of these cards are major arcana, so it could feel as though the things that are happening with you, Scorpio, in the context with a significant other are kind of above and beyond the normal dynamics of an everyday relationship, where there's something very fated about what's happening, something very divine, something very significant, possibly something very challenging. And they are perfectly well aware of the same thing too, but it's a little bit scary for them because it means making a choice is binding. And so it could be a little bit awkward for the significant other, for you, Scorpio, in that they might not like the feeling of being bound to one or the other, but they might want a sense of, let's say, they don't want to be owned. They would rather be free in who they are. They don't want to be owned by you or anybody else. They might also be seeking this. They might be the sort of person who actually loves being in a very, very deeply binding, very intimate, passionate, loving relationship. And again, I'm putting a positive spin on this card here for you, Scorpio, because not everybody sees it that way. So, but we're going to allow for both. The idea of like, gosh, a binding commitment. Oh dear, like run. Or it could be, oh, a deliciously binding, passionate agreement. Yum, yum, yum. Yummy, 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 yum, yum, yum. Okay? This card here, the Devil card, indicates energy that they're not ashamed about their body, their life, their desires, their passions, their needs, and the pleasures of life. And they give themselves permission to enjoy that side of life without having to apologize. In other words, it's like the energy of someone who does what they want to do, and they do what they love, and they love what they do, and there's no apologies. And if it makes other people jealous, then that's their problem as far as they're concerned. And because the other person here might be doing what everyone else secretly wants to do. It's just they don't have the nerve to do it. So maybe that's a turn on for you, Scorpio. Maybe you like the idea of being this let's say matched up in such a way that this could be very, very satisfying for you. This could be very appealing for you. You know, Scorpios in general, you like things to be very intimate when they're intimate, not just sort of loose and light and casual. But if you're gonna if you're gonna get with somebody, you want it full on, deep, deep, ultimate soul merger. And that's, I have a feeling, what we're looking at here. It's just that for you, Scorpio, you might be dealing with another who's actually kind of quaking in their shoes a little bit, like, oh my gosh, this is heavy duty, this is serious. And the fear of being tied up into something that might not work. We have to allow for that. Just saying, but I don't want that to be the dominant energy here. Let's have a look. Let's go deeper inside of you, Scorpio. What's going on? Okay, well, you obviously realize the value in the situation. You also realize that you cannot rush these big decisions right now, as much as you might like to, as much as it might feel as though everything's fated and it's absolutely bound to be this way, you and this other with you. And, you know, with the Lover's card here, it could be the sense of, you know, imminent, so to speak. However, when you're talking about the energy of decision here, making profound, important decisions like a marriage, like a full-on marriage, what does that imply? Does that mean liberty and freedom and being who you really, really want to be, being who you really, really get to be, being who you really, really are in the context of another, where this part of it, the crucible part, is very, very strong, very significant, and it's binding. It's a binding relationship. In other words, it would be like you, Scorpio, with a significant other, where you're sort of saying to each other, we're going for it no matter what. Okay? And we're going to go through it no matter what. Okay? So it's like love mixed up with passion, mixed up with commitment, desire, and like contractual agreement. It's kind of a big deal. So with all of that on your plate, with a significant other, Scorpio, it could make you decide, well, there's no point in rushing this situation, because if it's this profound, if it's this life-changing, if it's this significant, if it's this binding, and you're going to have to live with it, and you feel really good about the choice and the opportunity, and they might be a little bit shaky about it, but it's also very, let's say, desirable, and it might be a little bit taboo in some ways. It's still on the table, so to speak. So it puts you in a spot where deep down, as desirable as this may appeal to you, and as taboo as it might be to another, and as desirable as it might be, it puts you in a position where you really, really got to evaluate what's going on. Be really, really, let's say, conscientious about what does this all really mean? Where does it really, really go? Like, this could make you a little bit, I'm not saying anxious, but very deeply concerned inside that, you know, wherever this goes, wherever it's going, it's got to be done right. And it means it's probably going to need maintenance. And you just can't put everything on autopilot. It's the sort of relationship which is going to require ongoing, continued investment. It's going to produce fruit, and it's going to be very fruitful for you, Scorpio, and a significant other. But it isn't going to be a breeze, because there's an indication that it's going to need constant vigilance and maintenance and work to make sure it doesn't get, you know, overblown with itself here, overindulgent with itself, or neglected, or mismanaged, or allowed to run wild. Okay, that's how I'm feeling it here. All right, let's have a look at the significant other over here, going deeper inside. Well, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice for you, Scorpio? Wow, it looks like I'm just going to give you my take, all right? This is from Tarot Lumination. My feeling is that they're bringing it home. They want to extract themselves from any kind of sense of battle, trying to figure out, is this a good thing or not? Is this a really dangerous, scary thing to do? Is this going to be constricting? Is it going to be liberating? Because my feeling, even though this is not a couple's reading, Scorpio, this is your reading for you, We are talking about a significant other over here. It's still primarily your reading, and this is energy that permeates you and your relationship dynamic. Now, of course, this might have another star sign, another person with a whole completely different dynamic. So we're really looking at this from your perspective. So my feeling is that, Scorpio, you're dealing with someone who's very aware of what's going on. They're very aware of the significance and the consequences of such big decisions, such big commitments. They're aware that certain aspects of it might not be, let's say, appropriate to society or accepted by others, or that might be, let's say, judged as inappropriate by others because of the taboo energy that sometimes emanates from this card. But they are aware of it. The significant other, this chosen one, is perfectly aware of that, and they're dealing with it, and they're carrying it, and they're handling it with as much grace and beauty as the Lover's card itself. So my perspective from Tarot Illumination is that they're not intimidated by their own energy and situation, and they see it in a kind of a benevolent way as you do too. So yes, there's a lot at stake here, but deep in their core, it's a very, very loving energy, in that it looks from here, it looks as though they have intention to bring the love. They have to bring the love in. In other words, they are willing to extract themselves from the battle of what might have to go on to figure out how committed do they want to be, how much deeper do they want to go, how intimate are they willing to be. I mean, there's love and harmony and closeness, and there's intimacy, and there's complete, deep, utter soul merger, which of course is your preferred way of being, Scorpio. It's just that it can be really, really intense for the other party. And it looks like the other party is aware of what's going on inside of you and inside of the relationship in the bigger picture, so to speak, Scorpio. But they're willing to handle it. Not only are they willing to handle it, it looks like they're willing to accept it. And they would withdraw from, let's say, any serious conflicting external conditions that might block the flow of the love, and instead bring the love that is deserved, that they feel for you. In other words, their intentions are very loving, very wholesome, very, very pure, very romantic. And that works for you because it's like that lovely combination of passion and love, romance and love. The very human, raw, intimate side of things, and the more delicate aspects of love. Let's put it that way. So it's like you're getting 2 for 1, Scorpio. It's a very luscious, deep, intimate, passionate type of relationship, but it's also very sweet and gentle. That's what I'm feeling here for you, Scorpio. So that's really quite lovely. Let's have a look. Let's go deeper. It's going quickly. Let's have a look. Nature itself. Okay. However, with this 5 of Pentacles here, look, can you see Tarot Illumination? What's happening? It's not Tarot Illumination. Can you see, Scorpio, what's happening here? Is that deep down, it's like assessing and evaluating things. They could be assessing and evaluating things too, and they have all the best of intentions, but there is this sensation of what could happen? What if it goes wrong? You know? Can you see that there are 2 people in this card, the 5 of Pentacles? Well, what happens if this doesn't work out? Would it leave you and the other impoverished? Is it actually a good idea? We don't know yet. This is still in consideration here. It looks like the energy of the relationship itself is like really, really putting the whole concept of decisions right at the forefront here, because whenever you end up in the energy field of decision, there's always this whole idea of doing this or that. If you do this, then you don't get that. If you do this, then you don't get that. And so there's so much at stake here. In other words, all this potential good is at stake here, but it requires very, very big, life-changing, profound decisions to accept one and each other as they are, with all the binding and the victory and the love and the commitment that goes with it, but also the risk of losing a lot too from whatever that might be. Perhaps it might mean that your chosen one is actually giving up a lot to be with you. Or you might be potentially giving up a lot to be with your other. But those are factors that have to be brought into consideration for these decisions here, because it's on the understanding that it's almost like the ultimate marriage dynamic here unfolding, like it's like for the better or worse. In other words, if we do this, we're going to do it for the best, and we have to be prepared to live with the worst as well. So that's putting the crucible here, the relationship, under maximum pressure. That's what I'm feeling for you, Scorpio, is that you are aware of it, they are aware of it, and it's very evident that, like, if this is the crucible structure itself, that this relationship, as fulfilling and desirous as it might be for yourself and for the other, and how fulfilling it could be in this way, and how it could be, like, I'm not going to say a dream relationship, but a relationship of substance, almost divinely blessed. And this is the circumstances where you're becoming aware of it. For example, let's see, in November, well, this is typically your sort of Scorpio season, so you might be really feeling it anyway, but we don't know who this is in this reading. You do, Scorpio, but we don't here at Tarot Lumination. So it feels to me as though, like, as your reader right now, it feels that the significant other is fully aware of their desire to meet and be with you in the most loving ways possible, and separating themselves from whatever doesn't work in order for that to happen. But let's say it does happen. It makes both parties, yourself, Scorpio, and the other, aware that you're totally going for it, and there's a risk that if it doesn't work, it could be almost crippling for both parties. So both parties would have to be aware that they're both putting themselves at maximum risk and maximum reward. And that's what happens with the Lover's card. You're going for the maximum. This isn't like a dating thing. This isn't like a childhood sweetheart romance thing. This would be like the full-on marriage, life commitment type thing, and the energy that happens after marriage, which in astrology would be the 8th house, which would be the house of Scorpio anyway. In other words, it's like, okay, we're going to go for it. We're going to bring this together. It's going to be the full-on, the real deal. And yeah, it could be very awkward. It could mean stretching the limits of relationship dynamics. You could be pushing, well, not pushing it. This relationship situation could be pushing the significant other to their very limits of their abilities, and you to the limits of your abilities too, because both of you see with the Five of Pentacles, it's the energy of making decisions about who do you hang out with, because a lot of decisions in life that result in our impoverishment or our fulfillment are often related to very, very important life decisions. And marriage is one of those decisions. It's one of the biggest decisions that people make in life, like buying a house or buying a car, and it has big consequences. And if you jump into these relationships in a very naive way, without the evaluation, without the pure loving intent, and you think it's all just going to be fine just because, oh, it's a convention, that's what people do, then you can't really rely on that as a convention here. You have to know deep down in your depths of heart and soul that this is the real deal, this is the right thing, because everything is at stake here. That's what happens. Like, if you get married and you realize you made the wrong decision, it could be the worst thing that could possibly happen to you, Scorpio, and the worst thing that could possibly happen to a significant other, because there's so much at stake here. So what if it does go wrong? So that's why I'm calling it out here. When we make decisions in life, not just love and relationship, but big decisions in life, it often involves, like, the side effects on other people or a significant other with whom you are binding in contracts, like business contracts, that kind of thing, marriage contracts, that kind of thing. So it's full-on awareness of what could happen if it doesn't work. Okay, so let's see, where does that take us here? Okay, my feeling here with all these pentacles, for you, Scorpio, my feeling here is that I'm taking this Four of Pentacles in a very positive way. My feeling is that it's a chance to start from scratch and build a new foundation for yourself in a very kind of, let's say, practical, down-to-earth way that you might not have been used to doing beforehand. And let's just say, like, it's empowering, because the Four of Pentacles is often, I think of it as a power card, where it's about setting down these four pillars, the foundations of life, and how to, let's say, lock it down and make it so that it works, so that it has endurance, it has the ability to withstand the hard knocks. Like really, really good, solid foundations, are essential for anything that's going to endure time, and anything that's going to endure the potential of this much pressure, where it's very evident that you're going for the maximum opportunity that can happen in a relationship, which means exposure to the maximum of everything that could go wrong in a relationship. So it's very clear that what's happening here, my feeling for you, Scorpio, is that you're evaluating the solidity of the foundations and how to establish solid foundations going forward for yourself and a significant other in a potentially very challenging situation, but also a potentially very rewarding situation. Well, definitely a very loving situation, but it needs time, it needs nurture, it needs consideration. So well done. I'm happy for you, Scorpio. Do not rush any of this, okay? Thank you very much. Make the best of it. Bye-bye.